You ever check your bank account and feel like you're reading a crime scene? Not because it's empty, but because you can already hear your mother's voice. So you have money for data, but not for... Yeah, that guilt isn't just in your head, it's in your DNA. Welcome to the conversation nobody wants to have at the dinner table. Money habits that keep Africans poor, and why your degree, your hustle, and your prayers still have you living paycheck to paycheck. Today we're doing a brutally honest reflection, because here's the truth. You're not broke because you're cursed. You're broke because you've been programmed by ghosts who meant well. Let me guess. The tape is playing in your head. You finally get a decent job, maybe $500 a month, maybe $2,000, and before you even withdraw the cash, you've mentally spent it on 7 different emergencies. Your sister's school fees, dad's medication, that uncle who just needs a little something to get back on his feet. So what's left? You spend it on looking like someone who earns more, because in our world, your image is your only collateral. You're stuck in a loop where every dollar is already owed to someone, and every purchase for yourself feels like you're stealing from your family's survival. You're not just managing money, you're managing guilt, shame, and a generational IOU that never gets paid off. These aren't just bad decisions. These are money habits that keep Africans poor, rehearsed so perfectly they feel like virtue. So let's name the beast. Staying broke isn't the personal failure. It's a triple helix trap braided into your nervous system. First strand, scarcity programming. You were taught that money is a visitor, not a resident, that it comes and goes, so you might as well spend it before it leaves. Second strand, generational bleed, the black tax that turns your salary into a family rescue fund where your first promotion is immediately taxed by relatives who see you as their personal ATM. Third strand, digital cannibalism, the flex tax where you spend money you don't have to look like you're not broke because Instagram doesn't accept "I'm building quietly" as a valid caption. Here's what the research makes clear but nobody says out loud. Over half of young Africans want to leave the continent, not because we don't love home, but because we cannot find oxygen in a room where opportunity is hoarded by the connected few. The system is rigged, but your habits are reinforcing the rigging. These money habits that keep Africans poor aren't just personal choices, they're survival mechanisms that have outlived their usefulness. The Bible's book of Habakkuk says, "The stone will cry out from the wall, and the beam from the woodwork will answer it." That's not poetry, that's structural critique. The very buildings are testifying that something is fundamentally broken. And yet, Proverbs 21:20 says, "In the house of the wise are stores of choice food and oil, but a foolish man devours all he has." Here's the nuance we miss. The fool isn't just the one who spends. It's the one who spends without a system, who confuses generosity with self-destruction, who thinks humility means never saying, "I can't afford that." So, here's our framework. The triple account system for economic sanity. Your survival fund, which you need to stay alive, your legacy fund, which you owe to no one but your future, and your liberty fund, what you spend to buy your peace. Because when you mix them, when your cousin's emergency comes out of your rent money or your networking drinks come out of your grocery budget, you're not just broke, you're structurally sabotaging yourself. Breaking these money habits that keep Africans poor requires building new systems that feel unnatural at first. Step 1. The habit autopsy. For 1 week, track every financial decision that feels automatic. The $5 you send before they even ask. The drink you buy to look like you belong. The data bundle you can't afford but need for visibility. Don't judge it, just log it. At the end of the week, add it up. That number, that's your poverty tax, the amount you're spending to stay in character. Here's your trigger. If that number is more than 10% of your income, you're not helping your family. You're just performing the role of responsible child while bleeding out. Decide, one habit dies this week, just one. Step 2. The black tax boundary. Choose one relative you always say yes to. This month you practice, I love you, but I have a plan for my money and this isn't in it right now. Not a lie, not cruelty, a boundary. The trauma makes you think you're abandoning them. You're not. You're teaching them that love doesn't require financial amputation. When they push back, and they will, you repeat, I am building something. I need my bricks. Proverbs 4:23, guard your heart above all else, for it determines the course of your life. Your heart is your savings account. Guard it. Trigger, text that person today. I need to talk about money boundaries. Can we chat? Rip the Band-Aid off while you're brave. Step 3, the Black Flex Budget Lock. Automate 10% of every deposit into a nobody sees this account the second your salary hits. Then, and only then, give yourself a flex allowance, 5% of your income, for looking good online. When it's gone, it's gone. No dipping into survival, no credit card miracles. If you can't afford to post, you post your absence. Let them think you've fallen off. You're too busy building a life to curate one. Trigger, create a separate savings account. Name it, Breathe. Set up the auto transfer, then delete the app from your phone. You can't spend what you can't access impulsively. Step 4, the corruption bypass. You can't wait for the system to fix itself. Side hustles are not optional, they're infrastructure. But here's the key. Your side hustle must solve a real problem, not chase a trend. Nearly a third of youth already earn through side hustles. The ones who win? They're not selling drop-shipping dreams. They're fixing broken things, logistics, payments, education gaps. Find the friction in your community and lubricate it. That small business your cousin keeps failing at? Help her systematize it for 10% equity instead of just sending cash. You're not avoiding black tax. You're investing in it. Trigger, what problem do you complain about weekly? Traffic? Food delivery? Power banks? That's your side hustle. Write down 3 ways you could solve it for a few dollars. Start one this week, not next month, this week. Step 5, the emigration insurance. Whether you leave or not, prepare like you're going. Build a skill that transfers across borders. Coding, writing, remote project management. Nearly every young person wants out. But even if you stay, having a global skill means you're not trapped by local failure. It gives you leverage to negotiate, to demand better, to walk away from toxicity. It's not about abandoning Africa. It's about refusing to be abandoned by opportunity. Trigger, sign up for one free course tonight. Coursera, Udemy, YouTube. Pick one skill. Spend 30 minutes on it a day. In 6 months, you have a passport that doesn't require a visa. Step 6, the community shield. Find 3 people who also grew up broke and are trying to heal. Share your habit autopsy with them, not for advice, for witness. When you say, I feel sick buying groceries for myself, and they say, me too, the shame loses its power. You're not broken. You're just the first generation trying to heal a wound nobody named. Galatians 6:2. Carry each other's burdens. This is how you carry without bleeding out. Trigger, text 2 friends tonight. I need to talk about money habits. No advice, just listening. You in? Start the circle. Here's what we miss about money trauma. It normalizes poor habits like living paycheck to paycheck, high debt, no emergency fund. The research is clear. Financial trauma isn't just in your mind, it's in your muscle memory. Every time you spend impulsively because money will come and go anyway, you're not being foolish. You're being faithful to a survival pattern that once kept your family alive. But that pattern is now keeping you poor. Breaking these money habits that keep Africans poor means recognizing that what saved your parents is sinking you. The same unconscious patterns, giving until you're empty, spending to belong, hoarding without investing, are now liabilities in an economy that rewards strategic thinking over sacrificial suffering. A deeper cut. For the habit autopsy, use voice notes. Hear yourself say the memory out loud. The voice that whispers, "You're selfish," sounds different when you're listening to your own bravery. For black tax boundaries, write the script before you need it. I love you. I see you. I cannot. Keep it in your wallet. When they ask, you read it. For flex budget lock, calculate your cost per like. If you're spending $50 for 30 likes, you're paying $1.67 per validation. That's not flexing. That's financial self-harm. For corruption bypass, focus on one customer. One. Serve them so deeply, they become your case study. That's how you build proof, not just product. For immigration insurance, document everything. Build a public portfolio. The internet is your visa. For Community Shield, meet monthly. Share bank statements without shame. Normalize the conversation. Your call to action isn't think about it. It's pick the habit that makes you want to throw up. That's your edge. If you're a chronic yes person, the black tax boundary. If you're a panic checker, the flex budget lock. If you're isolated, the Community Shield. The step that makes you squirm is the step that's going to rewire the pattern. You're not protecting anyone by staying broke. You're just ensuring these money habits that keep Africans poor get passed down like a cursed heirloom. And look, I'm not here to tell you to cut off your family. Love is not transactional, but love without boundaries is not love. It's inherited trauma dressed up as duty. You staying broke doesn't fix the system. It just breaks you faster. So, here's your call to action. And it's stupidly small because revolutions start small. Do one thing from this video in the next 24 hours. 1. Set up that auto transfer. Have that awkward conversation. Sign up for that course. Delete that app. That's it. Don't make it a whole Pan-African summit. Just one grain of sovereignty. The system is rigged. The habits are inherited. But you are not a victim of your upbringing. You are the first generation with a shot at breaking the cycle because you have what your parents didn't: permission to name it, tools to heal it, and a community that sees you. You escape this trap not by getting rich overnight, by building one habit that outlasts your fear. And hey, if you're still panicking at the thought of keeping $10 for yourself, let me be the first to say you're not greedy. You're just in year 3 of the healing journey. Keep storing, keep building, keep saying, "I can't afford that," without apology. Now go build your silos. And hey, this time, keep the grain for yourself.